The smell of grease clung to everything. Josh hated it. He hated the way his clothes smelled after a shift, the greasy film that seemed to coat his skin. He hated the monotony of it all, the endless orders of burgers and fries, the robotic greetings, the fake smiles. He longed for something more, something different. Little did he know his wish was about to come true. It was a slow Tuesday evening. The usual after-work rush had died down, leaving Josh and a handful of other employees to man their stations. He was wiping down the counter, lost in thought, when the shrill buzzing of the drive-through speaker jolted him back to reality. "Welcome to Wendy's. Can I take your order?" Josh mumbled into the headset, his voice flat and devoid of enthusiasm. There was a moment of silence, then a raspy voice boomed through the speaker. "Yeah, I'll take one human soul with a side of fries." Josh froze. Josh's heart pounded in his chest. He looked around, hoping someone else had heard the disturbing order. But everyone was busy with their tasks, oblivious to the chilling exchange taking place at the drive-thru. He took a deep breath, trying to regain his composure. "Sir, I don't understand. We don't serve that," Josh stammered, his voice barely a whisper. The voice on the other end let out a guttural laugh, a sound that sent shivers down Josh's spine. "You will," the voice hissed. "You will." The line went dead. Josh stood there for a moment, his hand trembling as he held the headset. He rushed to find his manager, Carl, who was busy counting cash in his office. "Carl, you won't believe what just happened," Josh exclaimed. Days turned into nights, and the memory of that unsettling encounter began to fade. Josh tried to brush it off as a bizarre prank, but deep down a knot of anxiety remained. Then, one stormy Friday night, it happened again. Josh was manning the drive-thru when he heard the familiar raspy voice boom through the speaker. "Remember me, boy?" Josh's blood ran cold. He recognized the voice instantly. "Sir, please, I don't want any trouble," Josh stammered, his voice filled with fear. "This," the voice continued, "is a reckoning." The line went dead. Josh stood there, paralyzed with fear, as a wave of nausea washed over him. He had to do something, but what? He stumbled back from the counter, his eyes darting around the restaurant, searching for Carl. He spotted him in the back, arguing with one of the cooks. "Carl! Carl!" Josh called out, his voice cracking with panic. Carl turned around, his face a mask of annoyance. "What is it now, Josh?" Josh, struggling to catch his breath, managed to stammer. "He's back! The voice! He's back!" Carl rolled his eyes. "Look, kid, I told you it was just some teenagers messing around. Now get back to work before I write you up for slacking off." Frustrated and terrified, Josh tried to explain, "But Carl, he's serious." Josh felt a cold shiver run down his spine. He knew with a sickening certainty that this was the voice from the drive-thru. This was the man who wanted his soul. Carl, his face pale but resolute, stepped forward. "Look, mister, I don't know who you think you are, but you need to leave right now. You're scaring my customers." The figure chuckled, a chilling sound that echoed through the silent restaurant. "Customers? You think I care about your customers? I'm here for one thing, and one thing only." He took a menacing step forward, raising the tire iron. "Where's Josh?" Josh, frozen with terror, could only watch as the figure advanced towards him. The other employees, too stunned to react, stood frozen in place. The figure lunged. Josh screamed, throwing his hands up to protect himself. The figure, caught off guard by Carl's sudden attack, stumbled backward. The spatula connected with his shoulder, sending the tire iron clattering to the floor. Carl pressed his advantage, swinging the spatula with surprising ferocity. The figure, clearly outmatched, raised his arms to protect himself, backing away steadily. He tripped over a discarded tray and crashed to the ground, his hat falling off to reveal a wild mane of greasy hair. "Don't ever come back here!" Carl roared, standing over the figure, spatula raised high. The figure, his eyes filled with a mixture of fear and rage, scrambled to his feet and stumbled towards the exit. He paused at the doorway, glared at Josh one last time, then disappeared into the night. The restaurant was silent, the air thick with the smell of fear and stale grease. Josh, still shaking from the encounter, slowly got to his feet. Carl, his chest heaving, lowered the spatula. "Everyone okay?" he asked, his voice strained. No one answered, they just stared at him, their eyes wide with shock. Carl sighed. "All right, everyone just take a minute. Josh, you okay?" Josh nodded, still too shaken to speak. In the aftermath of that chaotic night, the police were called, statements were taken, and the restaurant slowly began to piece itself back together. But the memory of that terrifying encounter, and the strange note left behind, lingered in the minds of everyone who was there. News of the Wendy's psycho spread like wildfire through the small town. Some dismissed it as a hoax, a prank gone wrong. Others whispered about a crazed drifter, driven mad by hunger or loneliness. But no one, not even the police, could explain the note, the strange name scrawled on it, CASEOH. Josh, forever marked by the experience, couldn't shake the feeling that CASEOH was still out there, lurking in the shadows, waiting for the right moment to strike again. He quit his job at Wendy's, unable to bear the thought of ever stepping foot in another fast food restaurant. And so, the legend of CASEOH was born. A cautionary tale whispered among the late-night workers, the insomniacs, the denizens of the dark. A reminder that even in the most mundane of places, darkness can lurk.